Hello viewers, I'm back at the Nurburgring. Today I'm going to be getting my Nurburgring race license. So let's jump inside. Back to school for Jimmy Broadbent.
It's been a long time.
So we've got to do a theory section first. Feels like I'm back at school again. Okay, so that was the boring classroom bit out of the way. We are now getting on a bus and going around the track. Probably the slowest lap I'll ever do, but there's a lot to learn.
Immediately, two. So nice suspension. So this beach check on this corner here is easy flat out.
So first point of call is Hatson back, and it's very interesting walking it, heading that way. This is one of the few curbs that you're actually going to run in racing conditions. So we'll see what this feels like. He's given us a guide on where we should enter the curb and where we should come off the curb, but we'll work this out tomorrow. This next stop is Callanhard. Very banked corner, which you don't really realise on a game. And you know, coming from this hill into this corner, you realise just how steep it is. And it makes you realise that when you play on a sim, it doesn't do the elevation change any justice, I can tell you that.
So these orange barriers.
That's Misha's favourite corner. We are now at one of the most legendary and iconic corners in the world. Let's take a look at the carousel. We all know this one.
What, with a bike? It's an e-bike?
One of the hard things here at the carousel is the entry, because you're dropping down into the corner. It's quite hard to see. So I mean, there is a reference point of this bit here, or this toilet here. Quite hard to see, but it'll be a bit more obvious hopefully when we're actually racing. And then you can see where the cars drop in with all this marking here.
By running through this corner, and yeah, once again.
Okay guys, that was the bus ride, and you know what, it was actually very useful to get on the track, see the elevation, see the curbs up close, and get a good understanding of what they're like. But tomorrow is the more important part. I'm going to be getting out on the track myself in the BMW. Can't wait for that. Yes, good morning guys. Day number 2 for the permit testing. We're going to get our license today, hopefully, as long as we drive properly. It's nice and early in the morning, 7 AM, not much sleep, but we're here in the Nurburgring paddock. It's an NLS weekend, so as you can see, quite a lot of activity. Well, it is only early. But we're going to head up into the Black Falcon building, where we can get changed, get ready, and then we'll get into the car. So of course we are with the Black Falcon team. Obviously it's all sponsored by Bilstein, but Black Falcon are the team running our car. It's too early for this, guys. Here we go. The Black Falcon building. Look at this, guys. This is the driver's changing room. Got helmet ready. Oh baby. It's official now. We've got our own cupboard in the driver's changing room. You can see our car. I mean, there's our blue Bilstein car. I'm driving this one. Let's go and have a look. So this is the car I'll be driving for the permit test today. This is our Bilstein race car. Jimmy's in that one. So a new car to get used to. It's an E90 BMW. We're going to do 4 laps in a group of 5 and then 4 laps in a group of 2. Initially we've got the track to ourselves, but in about an hour it's open practice in a VLN session. So there's going to be GT3 cars, there's going to be, well, all types of cars. So it could get very busy and very interesting. Alright guys, let's show you inside the car. Oh. So we're inside the E90 BMW that we're driving today. As you can probably tell, it's quite yellow. In fact, we even have a banana start button. Something I have to get used to today is shifting on the right hand side, because of course in the UK the steering wheels are that side, so I'm usually using my left hand to shift. Now I'm using my right hand. But other than that, you know, 3 pedals. I've got to use the clutch today. Bit of heel and toe in. Not much more to say really, other than how yellow it is back here. But it's really a case of just getting out there, getting used to the car, and dealing with this guy who's stolen our race car.
The Bilstein guys are so nervous. They're just like, Jimmy, please, please be careful, Jimmy. Jimmy, please.
So this is our race car. Jimmy's driving it today. How you feeling? They put me at the top. There we go.
Damn it, mate.
See, I'm number one driver, mate.
I knew it.
Ready for today?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm well looking forward to this.
Alright, here we go then, onto the track for the first lap of our permit course. And quite quickly it appeared as though something was very wrong. Not for me, but for the car in front. You can see this VW. And it appears as though the rear wheel is having a bit of a good time there. Smoking out, looks like it's touching the bodywork. We weren't meant to overtake each other, but I think in this circumstance you can see that it was quite fine to go past. So they retreated to the pit lane, and I was at the front of the queue, up behind the instructor's Audi TT. And here we're doing 4 laps in a group of about 6. And this was a really good opportunity with a clear circuit, with no other cars beyond us, to get to grips, quite literally, with the track, with the car, and how everything feels, and just re-familiarise myself with the circuit. So at the end of the first lap, you can see I pull over to the right hand side. We were meant to do this where you then let all the other cars go, and then you go to the back of the train. There goes Jimmy in the Bilstein car. And now that I'm at the back of the train, lots of cars in front, and this was a really good opportunity to get used to the feeling of being behind other cars, being with other cars. And something that you might not think about as well is the lack of visibility when cars are right in front of you. Now, something we are doing here is slowing down for double yellows and for code 60s. So of course this is a test. They are going to put out some artificial safety cars, if you like, but around the Nurburgring everything is very different than a traditional circuit given the length of the track, and therefore this is the reason why you have to get this permit. It is very different. We had to learn about this online. You see it now going below 60 kilometers per hour through a code 60 section. On the left hand side you see that they've staged sort of a little coned off area, and that is very normal during racing around this circuit. Therefore you have to be very on it when it comes to obeying the flags. They are very strict with that. And here you can see practicing, getting quite close to this car in front with a nice big group. It was a good opportunity just to feel what it's like to be in close quarters with some other cars, and this was rather welcome, I would say. And up behind, it looks like a Scirocco just in front of us here, riding the curbs as well for good measure, just getting a good feeling of what that is like. And eventually we came in after 4 laps. It says lap 5 there. We started the 5th lap, but we actually completed 4 laps, brought the car in, got it refueled for our next set of laps. And for this one it was a little bit different. So it was myself, Jimmy in the Bilstein car immediately in front, and Andy in the Mercedes AMG in front of Jimmy. And you can see quite quickly that I had a bit of a car deficit, and this is my immediate racing driver excuse. But to be honest, it didn't matter too much. All I had to do is do 4 laps, and as long as Andy in the instructor car was happy with my driving, then it would all be fine. At the end of the first lap, catching up eventually on the Dottinger, getting this car above 200 kph and getting a good feeling for what that is like. And you can see here, just trying to keep up the best I can through the hats and back section. Really good fun actually, this couple of corners, these sequence here, riding the curb, maximising the car the best I can. I had Jimmy right on my tail the entire time, and it was good just to see what that feels like, looking in the mirror, seeing what cars look like in the mirror. And I know that sounds really stupid, but you do have to familiarise yourself with that. So here, he wanted us to go above the Kleiner carousel. I completely ignored him because I couldn't quite hear him through the team radio. little bit later on, going past a stricken Porsche 911 GT3, the Falcon car, which actually ended up winning the NLS round. But we could push a little bit more. And this is coming out of the carousel on the third lap. You see a couple of cars going through. And this was the important thing here. This was now an NLS open session as Jimmy goes back past. And therefore, we really did have to be quite wary of things in our mirrors, well, the other cars, and let them past, making sure we didn't make any catastrophic errors. Here on the GP loop, making the most of the track limits, pushing the car to its limits. Jimmy and Andy did push quite far ahead, and so I kind of just had to go at my own pace here, trying to get past a group of slower cars. I think another couple of cars here doing the permit course. So just trying to be somewhat forceful to get through, and eventually getting past this little group of three. After which, it seems the Falcon car, the GT3, had returned to the circuit and managed to get past me there. So my first experience of what it looks like, or what it feels like for a GT3 car to come up on you and to go past, and they do come up very quick, I can assure you of that. Eventually though, after 4 laps, it was time to bring the car in after safely navigating the permit, the opening sessions. There we go guys, our first 8 laps of the permit course, 4 behind the instructor as a group, and then 4 with Jimmy and Andy as the instructor there. I think it was quite clear that our Bilstein race car, the one that Jimmy was in, was a lot quicker, a lot more power, but obviously we can't both drive at the same time. The main thing I was noticing really was just the bumps and the curbs, what that feels like riding through the carousel. A couple of curbs you have to ride around here, and then there's a couple of bumps, for example the Vauxhall, you really do feel that, and you really don't feel it in the sim. So quite a few differences there. There he is. How was your little session there?
Yeah, it was really good. My car's faster than yours, I'm a better driver, I think that's what that means. I'm quite looking forward to this, like, a few laps in a row now. I mean,
yeah, man. Well, I'll see you out there, maybe. Yeah. You'll probably lap me. So Jimmy was supposed to be driving this car, but we have an issue with the car at the moment. So he's out there now in a Cayman GT4. So there goes Jimmy. He's blagged a ride in the GT4, but he should hopefully get his allocated lap count in and then get his permit as well. I'm joined by a very special guest, Mr. David Pittard.
You're gonna drop me straight in?
Yeah, recent winner of the N24.
Yo.
Any advice really for us when we come to do our first race?
Stay on the line.
Stay on the line.
Stay on the line. Let us boys come round you.
Dave's got a very well-known video, 56 overtakes in 1 lap, and I remember just as he went through Sabine Schmidt's curve, a car like deviated off the line, it confused him and sort of raised his hand. So yeah, it's easy to overcomplicate it and, like, you know, move off the line, try and do this silly dance, but all you got to do is just be predictable. But next up is our 8-lap test. So basically I have to go around for 8 laps, not do anything really stupid, and I will have my Nurburgring Nordschleife permit to race. Okay, this is it then. Let's go and do 8 clean laps of the Nurburgring Nordschleife, the VLN loop, VLN layout where we have to do part of the Grand Prix circuit. 8 laps. Doesn't sound like a big number, but it is a long time, given that each lap is roughly 10 minutes. You can see here quite quickly a nice Aston Martin GT3 car coming through. And that would be my main concern, I would say, on this session. Quite a lot of traffic on the circuit, as we were now into the early afternoon, on the day before the VLN round, or the NLS round should I say. Trying to get used to the car, pushing it through this hats and back section. Actually one of my favourite sections of the circuit, I would say. And lots of other cars streaming through. And that was my main task really, in one of the slower cars on the track, just to make sure that I wasn't in the way or doing anything really stupid to block a faster car. Pushing the car to its limits here, again over 200 kilometers per hour at the end of the Dottinger, compression at the bottom, and then trying to break as late as possible. But again, I wasn't really trying to set any world records. This was really a case of let's just get around the track, not do anything silly, and bring the car home. Into the second half of the session, catching up with this BMW M2 and going for the overtake around the Kleiner carousel. So it was good to actually catch up and overtake some cars, but given it's such a big track, traffic was actually not as big of a problem as I thought it would be. Coming here through the chicane at the end of the GP loop, just beginning to get more comfortable with the car and really beginning to push it over the curbs. You can see just how tired I was, shaking my hands here, giving it a bit of a rest down the Dottinger, where you have a good 20 or 30 seconds to rest. This was quite a tiring experience, I must say, and you might think that you are just sitting there, but it is actually quite tiring. Pointing across to the engineers on the pit wall there, that I was going to do one more lap. However, my dashboard told me to come in. That's exactly what I did at the end of that lap. Oof, okay guys, I am absolutely exhausted. There's my 7 laps done. It was meant to be 8, but the dash was saying come in, and I came in. It's meant to be fine that we can do 7. But let me show you something, right? Because if I close the door, now you can see the visibility in that rear view mirror there. Sorry, the side mirror, the left mirror. That's a really good mirror. I can see quite a lot. But in this rear view, I mean, that's reflecting a lot off of the boot. But you can see that visibility is very difficult. And then looking in the right mirror, well, you can see there's a massive pillar blocking it. And therefore, like, you can't really see too much. So trying to watch for the cars behind was very difficult. Had to keep looking in the left mirror especially, having a quick glance into the right, coming out of right-handers especially. So that was the hardest bit, I would say, just all-round visibility, knowing where other cars are. So shifting here was very tiring. My right arm is like literally dead right now. So after all that, guys, we're now going to pick up our race licenses. Here we go. The moment. There it is.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Good driving.
Here it is, guys. But it's good news, guys. Jimmy and I have now got our permits. Misha, he's got one. He's fine. He didn't pass. No, yeah, he failed. Sorry, he's actually out the team now. No, he's good. He's already got one. So we can race. The Bilstein race team is ready to go. Before today, I'd only done 3 laps here in real life. I've done 18 laps now around here, and I am now qualified. I have the permit, the license to race. All good news. The next video is me driving the Bilstein race car around the Nurburgring for the first time. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.